Okay, I'm going to shoot down some claims, some ridiculous posts being made on a friend of mine's channel here.
Well, at least your friend has the guts not to block embarrassing exposures on creation.
Evolution, this whole evolution stuff, I'm so sick of this. Evolution doesn't try to explain how life started. That's garbage. Look, evolutionist scientists themselves discuss the evolution of the cell and the evolution of DNA in their own papers and their articles on the internet. So if they discuss it, it's as evolution, then, what's this junk that layperson evolutionists do?
Oh my God, it's cat sat on the mat time for this totally amateurish pseudo-scientist. Now, nobody is denying that abiogenesis is a necessary precursor to evolution. Evolution pertains to the speciation and not the stage when chemistry became biology. We will never know exactly how chemistry turned to biology, because we do not have the benefit of something like the fossil record to look back in time. Of course, our pseudo-scientist does not accept the fossil record. Why would he? Because it supports evolution, hands down, while at the same time pushing creationism further back into the realms of fantasy, if that's possible. There are a number of hypotheses, and some may even be proved in the future, but the actual event can never be proved. Such possible clues may be found in hydrothermal vents, extraterrestrial objects, extremophiles, etc. Perhaps the weakest hypothesis is that a supernatural being kick-started it all, but this has absolutely no basis, of course. So let's do our cat sat on the mat explanation to make it easy. Imagine I am one end of a long street. I see you coming around the corner. Of such things nightmares are made of. I watch you slowly walk towards me, and I can observe and record every single step and every pause while you cross the side roads, etc. I record every move I see, but I don't know how you started your journey. Around the corner are a number of doors that you possibly could have come out of. I could prove that it was possible for you to come out of any of those doors, but I cannot prove which one. Does that invalidate your journey that I observed? Of course not. Of course your claim would be that you didn't come out of any of the doors, but were magicked out of thin air. Not surprising, Mr. False Dichotomy, as fantasy is your game.
Saying it's not, abiogenesis is not evolution. Come on. Look, you don't believe it was created, do you? Then you believe it evolved, didn't you? Yeah, it's evolution. I'm sorry. Don't give me that junk. I'm so sick of that one. That's so old and tired. Just admit that it's evolutionism and go on. Get over it already. It's old and dead. Stop sounding silly.
It's an old argument, but that does not make it invalid. Even you must surely realize that not knowing first life does not invalidate subsequent inheritance by common descent.
Replication. Self-replicating. Okay, because man can create something that self-replicates in a laboratory is not evidence that nature can or ever has, okay? Or that nature produces something, some machinery that ever increases in complexity. You see, they've experimented with that lots of times, and it's failed every time. What is it, Miller-Urey, I think was the name of it? I forgot the name of the experiment.
Well, we could well be within 20-odd years improving the viability of some of these hypotheses. But as I said, we will never know which one. Remember our cat sat on the mat story? Still, it is far better to admit not knowing than guessing using the God of Gaps tactic. The evidence for creation is so poor that you can't even prove if it was one God or many gods. Such are the perils of using faith instead of science.
See, science deals with the observable, testable, and repeatable. So don't give me your faith as if it's science, okay? I don't want to...
Observable and repeatable? You mean like God done it? Laugh? I nearly bought a pint.
I mean, if you want to talk about religion, make a video in explaining how it's your religion that life evolved, okay? Then...
Nope. Religion involves worshipping an unproven supernatural entity. Only your pseudoscience can be classed as religion.
Now we're talking about RNA. Look. RNA is a product of DNA. Did you know that? It's transcribed from the DNA molecule.
Now it's obvious that you are no more a scientist than I am. But tell the boys and girls that there are many more than just one form of RNA. RNA is much simpler than DNA, but still self-replicates and catalyzes chemical reactions. It is highly feasible that early life started with just RNA, and then started using the more robust DNA later. RNA in its various forms is much more interesting than first thought. You seem to be basing your whole argument on what science does not know because it is still working on it. Science will always have questions to answer, but one thing is certain. As more and more is discovered, the God myth is pushed further back into the classroom corner, complete with Dunce's hat.
DNA cannot form in nature, okay? Because the entropy against the molecule would be trillions of times greater than any imagined complex scenario by which molecules can bind together in ever increasing.
It's just a molecule. Complicated, yeah. That's all it is. Such a statement suggests that you believe that no chemical reaction can ever take place. Due to entropy? What?
The cell, all the cell's functions and features, most of its functions and all of its features are coded in as information in the DNA. Okay, you can't have the DNA as in part or the cell in part. You have to have them both fully functional all together at once.
Well, that's fair enough. But on what basis do you assume that the first cells were of the complexity that they are today? Oh yeah, I forgot. God done it.
That's intelligent design. That's not evolution. You're spouting faith.
Intelligent? Design? More like stupid design. Why make a design so prone to mutation?
And then you talk about ribosomes. Yes, indeed. That's complexity, though.
Ah yes, that most scientific of all statements. It is complex, therefore God done it. Remember when our Bronze Age ancestors used to say the same thing about thunder and lightning?
Why do proteins need to form by chance? Well, because if it's not produced by chance, it's produced by design.
False dichotomy. How about partly by chance for mutations and the non-chance of natural selection? Remember your flagship of microevolution? That involves a change in the proteins that are produced, and thus can happen with a more marked effect over a larger time scale and with more dramatic changes in the environment. What's the difficulty in understanding that? In your microevolution world, which came first, the lion or the tiger? Which bit of coding in the first altered to produce different proteins in the second? You're doing nothing but guess, whereas evolutionary biology backs up common descent, which in turn explains the difference.
Okay? Nature can't produce DNA. It's an information storage medium. Information can't be created by nature. Neither can linguistics, law, or algorithms. Okay? DNA is all three, and it's far more complex than that. I can't begin to tell you how complex.
Of course nature creates DNA. It creates it by copying. It is going on right now while your skin cells are being replaced.
The Human Genome Project has revealed that it's vastly more complex than they thought it was before.
And for the umpteenth time of asking, your point on complexity is?
Histones. Look, the immune system is so complex, I mean, it puts a complete smackdown on evolutionism.
Yeah, I'm getting the message. It is so complex, God must have done it.
Now, if evolution can't produce this, what do you think? If scientists can't even create a self-replicating system that increases in complexity endlessly?
And also, scientists cannot recreate a star the size of our paltry sun. Conclusion? We know nothing about how stars function, and God done it. I'll concede one thing though, Neph. While the quality is horrendous, the quantity receives my highest admiration.